Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
People who value sleep, sleep on a Nectar mattress. But you're not going to believe me. After all, I might be lying. I must be lying. The only thing you know is true is that commercials lie to you. I must be lying.
Instead of believing silly commercials, trust the more than 2 million happy sleepers who sleep on a Nectar mattress. Nectar Sleep is currently running their biggest offer ever, $399 in accessories plus a 365-night home trial and free shipping and returns. Go to nectarsleep.com today.
The following podcast is a member of the Great Big Owl family.
I'm still not. Oh. I mean, I've spoken first. I hate this game.
Yeah, it's a game we haven't played for a while, actually, to be fair, isn't it?
No, it is, but it's still in the back of my mind. It lingers on. It's like we started it's like the yes/no game, playing it in the car, and then you've agreed you've all stopped playing it, and yet someone still says, "You said yes," hours later, and you're like, "Oh, come on."
Sorry about that. We've got some news, haven't we?
Well, I mean, people can see the news already because it's Friday and they're listening to an episode of Cabin Fever.
Oh, I meant about the fact that we've sacked Helen.
Oh, God. Oh, this is awkward.
Yeah.
We should have told Helen first.
Yeah.
Thing is, I know that her mum listens to the show, so I'm hoping that Helen's mum can text Helen and let her know she's been.
Yeah, Jenny, would you mind just telling Helen she's no longer required?
Didn't see that in your tarot cards, did you, Jenny?
Helen isn't, in fact, sacked. She is just late. Well, no, actually, we started early. That's unfair to say she's late. We started early because I have to leave early. So she'll be joining us shortly.
Let's discuss at length the semantics of where she is until she arrives. But we should also go about let's go about the business of explaining what's going on and why we're here on a Friday.
Well, I mean, the problem is, the reason we're here on a Friday is because it was getting incredibly hard for us to all be together on the weekend. Yeah. So we thought, why don't we pick a time when all three of us will definitely be there? And as you can tell, that's gone very well.
That's right, Helen, isn't it?
Who cares action? That was my impression of Helen. Who cares action?
That's actually spot on. That's spot on. There is actually a bit of business on this, Dave. Hang on a second. Wait one second.
Who cares action?
Yeah, it's quite. Yeah. At Who cares action. That's what I got wrong. Okay, I'll try again.
Okay, go on.
At Who cares action?
At Who cares action?
Very good. Very good. There is a bit of business which we should discuss, and it is a slightly podcasty chat, but it's quite important. So there's new software arriving in podcast land very soon, and we should explain to the audience what the software does.
You should explain to me what it does, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, in podcast land, there is a new bit of kit, which means all podcasts will be scanned by a bot to make sure that they're not using licensed music.
Oh, I see.
And like on YouTube, if you try to put a YouTube video up and it features a bit of music, then YouTube will scan it with a bit of tech and say, oh, you've tried to use, Anton Deck's smash hit, Let's Get Ready to Rumble on this vid.
Wonderful choice of the first popular music song that came to your head.
Yeah, I want a sort of good, modern top 10 version to set the example. And then you have to take it down. So in podcast land, we've been in this sort of murky territory where we've been putting tiny clips. And if you're a podcast, if you're not independent, so if you're up with the BBC and Sounds, they've got a sort of independent deal with all the people who govern this, and they've sorted it a little bit. But in independent podcast land, we haven't done anything about it. And then last week it got announced that there's a new bit of software which is going to scan all podcasts, and if they find any music, you have to, and rightly so, I completely agree with this because of PRS, you have to go through it and take the music down. So all of a sudden, Dave, things like, for example, that will trigger the bots. And how many times have I stupidly, whilst making this podcast, thrown in ridiculous things like that?
Yes, this is going to come back to haunt us, because the problem with us is it's literally never necessary. Like, it's not like on, podcasts that say review films or songs, and they're like, well, let's hear a bit of the song. It's contextual to the podcast.
That's right.
Most of ours is just you. Yeah. Almost, I mean, I'd say it's not that it's not necessary. It's almost sort of counterproductive to the flow of the podcast. Just sort of drop in the theme tune from The Bill or something, Well, I don't think the robot's going to catch that.
It
'cause,
might.
even a computer can't tell that that's an Elton John song.
It's not that good. It's not that good a computer. Mate, that might send the bot into a tailspin when it hears that.
It's sort of Elton John, is it? I don't know. What is it?
It
Oh, my
can't be
days.
real. Also, surely Elton John can't accept royalties for that. Surely he'd be like, oh, no, I mustn't have money for that. So basically, what I'm asking is, listeners, could you go back over every episode and just send us a time code for every time we've used any music at all?
No. Sorry, don't do that. Download the episode, edit out the song for us, and then resend it back to us, and we'll just upload it. That'd be great.
Oh, good. Thanks very much. Indeed.
Well, basically, I think let's be honest. What'll probably happen is anything that you've played, Amdil Dandin, and all those bits, they might just disappear, but I'm not sure there's that many people that are sort of regularly going through the archives of Cabin Fever. You know, it's not like Friends, is it? It's not just people sort of binge listening for comfort.
No.
While they eat their dinner. I don't think anyone's going back to season 2.
Well, people might want to be like, what was lockdown like in May 2020?
Yeah.
Let's see what Dave and Tom are doing. I love it because it's this sort of great diary. Like already, I can just even looking through the titles of the episodes, I'm like, oh yeah, gosh, Wilfred doing his blooming riddles. You know, I love it. It's a great diary for me.
Oh, it'll be great in like 20 years when or 30 years or whatever. When the grandkids are saying, what did you do in the great pandemic of 2020? And we'll go, well, I'm not even going to sit and tell you the story. Just put this cassette on, or whatever the modern technology of the time is.
I remember when I was very small, I wrote a play featuring all my pets. And they all had different voices.
I mean, a lot more on this. I was letting you go.
Yeah. So we got the two dogs, Ted and T'other, who Ted used to speak like this. And T'other was like, oh, very nervous. And then there was Ascot the cat, who was very posh. And I wrote a story about them going on an adventure when I was about 7. And I scripted it all, and then I recorded it on a tape. And it was really, I wish I still had the tapes now. It was chaotic is possibly the kindest word I can use to describe it. Sure. I mean, it was, using modern podcast standards, it was probably quite peaky and shouty. And then my mum thought it was delightful, and it was like, two sides, 45 minutes long on a tape player.
45 minutes long?
No, 90 minutes long, mate.
Two sides. Both sides?
Yeah. I wrote it. It was hours. It was an hour and a half of the animals all going on an adventure, going to France in the car, right? And God, I wish I had this tape. And my grandfather at the time was probably about 88, 89, and he came to stay at the house for a while back from his residential home, his care home. And my mum thought he'd like to listen to it. And he was a grumpy old fucker. He didn't want to listen to it at all. He literally didn't hear her saying, you're going to listen to this. And he pressed play. I'll never forget this. She pressed play, I should say. She pressed play on this tape in here, the conservatory where he was sitting, because it flips automatically. She then left him there for like a morning. This fucking tape just going round and round.
That's like torture.
Torture of me just going, let's go. Oh, so I've got sunburn. Oh, we need to get some sun cream. Oh no, I've run out. Like, and I remember him coming out of there like for lunch, and he was livid, spitting, and he was my first ever critic, Dave, as a performer.
And what a critic!
And what a critic he was. Yeah. So I'm not sure what the point of that story was. I'm sure it connected somehow.
I was going to say, where's that come from? I was sort of playing back.
That's right.
Things in the future.
That'll do. Sure, why not? Anyway, apologies to my late grandfather, who's probably listening.
Listening from the clouds.
Bored or tired?
Tired, actually. Just sort of tired and hot, actually. More hot. Bored, tired or hot might be the thing. Because I get very sleepy when it's hot. And we're recording this on Wednesday, a.k.a. the hottest day of the universe.
Yeah. Hot yawns. That's a new thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's so hot, isn't it?
Yeah. Hot yawn sounds like a euphemism for an orgasm.
But it's just, that's the opposite of how I feel currently. The least orgasmic I've ever felt. It's lethargy beyond lethargy.
Yeah.
So that's my current yawns. We were going to go to a little day out today, weren't we? And then we just got up this morning, went, it's too hot, let's stay at home. Yeah,
it's the opposite of a rain check. So for a certain ginger-skinned humans such as us.
A sun check, yeah.
Your sun check, exactly. I can't do it, mate. I can't do it. I played golf yesterday, and I absolutely... The smell of frying gammon on a bed of overpriced golf shoes was absolutely overwhelming. So,
who did you play golf with?
I went on a comedian's golf day.
Another one?
Yeah, mate, we're doing them once a month. I came second.
Oh, my dear. What, that tournament that you ranted on about last time?
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder we didn't hear anything about it if you didn't win. Who won this time?
Oh, I don't know. Some young upstart. Bobby, James something.
You've forgotten their names.
I genuinely have, yeah. I didn't have because he's under 40, so he doesn't exist as a human. Talking of which...
I bet he's a bloody, TV comedian or something that's on Mock the Week every week.
He's a journeyman. He's a journey child. Helen Monks is here, guys.
Hi, how are you both?
All right, mate, how are you? Nice to hear. We were just explaining to everybody that the reason we're releasing episodes on Friday now is to make sure there's a guaranteed time that all three of us are in the same room at the same time.
Oh God! I was going to say it's on me, but it's not on me.
No, it's my fault today. Actually, it's my fault because I've had another meeting put into my diary. I sound like a bloody CEO of a bank or something. I've had a meeting put into my diary at 11:30. Which, I'll be honest, I don't want to do, but I've now got to do because I made a fuss about not doing it. One of those ones?
Oh, it's one of those.
Also, it's very pleasing for me because it's a meeting about, a company which I co-run with Dave. But have I got the meeting? Have I bollocks? I'm just going to wander off downstairs and,
You're not worried they're elbowing you out? It's a meeting about you.
Yeah, I mean... I'm
Ousting
hoping
you.
they are elbowing me out, to be honest. I just want to get as much golf in as I can. So,
You have to do even fewer meetings, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for that. Fingers crossed.
Running a company is mainly just meetings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely mindless, endless meetings. In fact, Helen, you've just come from a meeting. Tell us about it. Give us the minutes, please. Minutes with monks. Whoop, whoop, minutes with monks.
That's a copyrighted theme tune, Tom, please.
Oh, God.
So I had a meeting about environmental policy within the arts, and after this I've got a budgeting meeting. So I've noticed the problem with doing it in the working week, and if you've got this, Dave, we're going to a boring meeting after this. I'm not very weekend vibes. I'm very working girl vibes.
Business vibes, yeah.
And so I'm not... Yeah, business vibes, and I don't know if I'm going to be as fun today.
Well, this can become a new business podcast. Maybe we should just make it about the stock market and the bank. Just let's look at the markets. A weekly business update. What's the NASDAQ doing, guys? Honestly, what's the NASDAQ?
Well, is that the new thing on Disney Plus? The NASDAQ. It is, isn't it? Series 3.
I'm just Googling NASDAQ.
I feel quite opposite this because for me the weekends are all business because I do my breakfast show on a weekend and also I look after my family on a weekend and that is my job basically. So the weekday I'm much more golfing. Yeah.
Oh my God, you've got it the right way round. You've got a 2-day week.
Sort of more one really.
Such a...
So I'm in a great mood. I'm really feeling it. Let's do an extra long episode.
Well, I've already decided that I'm basically taking today off because it's too hot. So...
all I'm going
to do today is this podcast. I've got to sing a song about a beef baby for a different podcast.
I wonder which podcast that might be. Beef baby. That's definitely for Toaster. Yeah, got it. Cool.
And then that's it. I think I'm just going to have the rest of the day off.
Guys, I've invested in a fan that has changed my life.
It's great, isn't
it? Have you got a fan?
Yeah, I've got a big, tall fan by my bed, and it's occasionally I forget to switch it on before I go to sleep, and it's really obvious when I wake up in the middle of the night. It's the best thing. It's noisy and it rattles and it's crap, but my God, it makes the difference.
Just makes everything okay. Mine plugs into my laptop. It's like a little desk fan, and when I leave my desk, maybe it's a good thing to give employees because it makes you want to just be chained to your laptop doing work.
Right.
For the cool breeze.
I saw a guy on the tube the other day with a backpack with 2 little fans poking out the top of the backpack, and he sat on the tube with his bag on his lap and the 2 fans literally an inch from his face, just double fanning his face. I thought it was quite good.
I think I'd be a bit embarrassed.
I find it quite hard to join in with the fan chat because, as we know, I think as discussed see above this time last year, I do have a slightly better solution to the hot weather, which is going to piss you both off. I've got aircon built into my bedroom, haven't I?
You should have been at the environmental policy chat that I was just at.
Oh, don't. I know. I'm taking out a polar bear a night at the moment. I'm conscious of this. I'm offsetting it all.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice to be cold though, isn't it?
I've been looking at aircon solutions. A few people in my building have been popping on the Facebook group. There's a man called Yin that's got aircon, and he's become the king of information. We're all just going, tell us about it. What's it like?
But the crucial thing is with aircon, you can't, because I also bought a big a big aircon robot to put in this room, which I'm
an aircon robot.
Well, it does look like a Doctor Who baddie from the 70s. Well, it's just like an aircon unit with a.
Oh, is that the one that makes
the
most noise in the world? That you have to stick out the window as well.
Yeah, and exactly. I used it last year, and it's crap. And it cost about 400 quid. Wow. And whenever I put it on, it's just so rubbish. So if you're going to get aircon, you kind of got to get the stuff that's built in a bit, because it's much cheaper to run as well, which isn't ideal. But unfortunately, because of the imminent climate chaos, welcome to the show, loads of people are going to need it, certainly in flats. There's so many people in flats that are fucked at the moment because they go higher and higher up, and it's just...
I'm on the top floor. I'm on
Helen.
the top floor.
Oh, Monksy.
It's really hot.
Yeah.
Nothing else to say, really.
How's your... I know there's lots to say, because as a solution to your top floor heat would be to jump in your balcony paddling pool. But what's the status of that? Is it still...
So, can I tell you what happened?
Yeah.
It was really sad. I went outside...
She drowned. Your flatmate drowned. Oh, Mary.
She's still out there. Just floated.
Well, if you didn't have to move the paddling pool, it's going to be tricky to move a corpse, isn't it?
She'd emptied it all. She'd bucketed it all out, and she thought she'd done a really nice thing. And she was a bit like, "Why are you upset with me? I've just spent an hour bucketing it out." And I was like, "Because I needed to film it for Cabin Fever." So...
Oh, hashtag content. Does everyone in your life forget that you've got cabin fever? I know we've talked about this before with your bitching colleague, that she just has no fucking idea.
She doesn't know.
Whenever I say to Beth, I'm like, I'm off to do cabin fever, she's like, what?
Yes.
The podcast I do with Dave and Helen. Oh, right, that one.
Yeah. Also, I hate to say it, my flatmates don't really know who you are unless I say Dave and Tom. So if I'm like, oh, Dave was talking, they'll be like, who? And I'll be like, from Dave and Tom. Or I'm like, oh, Tom was saying, they're like, who? And I'm like, oh, from Dave and Tom.
I've met Matt loads. He doesn't know who I am.
Oh, Matt, no.
Excellent.
Amy, the flatmate, to be fair, that you didn't know existed until last week.
Oh my God, Dave! You're Dave off of Dave and Tom. You must feel sick.
I do feel sick.
Dave, at least
it's exactly that's what I was going to say. At least it's Dave and Tom, and not Tom and
That's
Dave.
just an alphabetical thing. That's alphabetical, not alpha.
I'll be livid with that with Tom and Dave.
Oh yeah, no, it's got to be Dave and Tom.
I think Tom and Dave's better because it's like Chaz and Dave. It's got the one
Tom and Jerry.
Well,
yeah, there's lots of arguments.
Tom
for
and
Tom
Jerry.
And Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, something to think about. Now, listen, so we're getting towards ad time, so it's something to look forward to, exciting. It'd be nice for the listeners to hear something decent. And then...
properly produced bit of audio.
And then are we WhatsApping? I'm not sure how much is on the WhatsApp agenda.
There's enough... there's the rat, mate.
Oh, great.
I'm excited by rat.
All right, okay.
There's loads.
Well, let's take a break for some excellent quality ads, then we'll be back for Rat Chat, yeah?
It's an S-Pod thing, the podcast revisiting S Club 7's insane TV show.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone's binge-watched this, anyone who's not on drugs.
Thank you for bringing this into my life. It was honestly, truly appalling.
Guests helped me analyse the show in more detail than anyone ever asked for.
It feels weird to me to say the phrase sex object in a show that was aimed at 6-year-olds.
Do you think this is one of the problems with this show is that 7 is too much?
It's an S-Pod thing from Great Big Owl.
Experience gorgeous, lasting, high-quality hair color with Madison Reed. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code RADIO10.
Rat chat.
Over to you, Helen Monks.
Rat chat it up.
Oh, lovely. Nurse Rat Chat, Helen Monks.
Nurse Rat Chat.
There's a rat in the flat.
Oh, better than a mouse in the house.
Yeah.
Oh, lordy.
Or a cat in the hat. Where was you rat in the flat?
Dog in your
in
bog.
The kitchen. Oh, God. Goat in the moat.
It's a paddling pool, Helen. It's a paddling pool. You can't call it a moat. Mary's emptied your moat.
I'd be happy with a fish on my dish.
Pigeon in the fridge.
Oh, God.
Go on, Helen. Right in the flat.
Seagull in
we're
the...
all just doing,
we're all
just doing
oh, God.
Yeah. Come on, guys. We've got to move on from this.
Pelican
ball on the floor.
In the...
You're making it hard for yourself, I'd say, Helen.
Pentagon? Pelican in the Pentagon. The new novel from James Patterson. Pelican in the Pentagon.
You're really you've chosen some of the world's hardest animals to write.
Yeah, you really have.
You're like a tennis player that's just thrown it 8 feet to the left as they're trying to serve. It's like, set it up a bit easier for yourself, mate.
How we get Pelican in the Pentagon. You got to dream big. I'm now Googling obscure animals.
Giraffe in the calf. Come on, let's just do this. Come on, rat in the flat.
There was a rat in the flat.
Oh, God.
Aardwolf in the...
Toad in the road.
Oh, that's
Toad in
good.
the road. Streaked Tenrick. What is that?
I don't know the words.
Tenrick.
I don't know the words you just said.
What is
In
it?
the district.
Wow.
This is one of those moments where I feel like anybody that's tuning in for the first time will just... Well, they've gone by now.
Yeah, I've got you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye to them. Yeah.
Should I tell you about the rat in the flat? I'll tell you about the rat in the flat.
Go on, rat in the flat,
Tell
please.
me about the rat in the flat.
There was a rat in the flat in the kitchen.
Oh.
We called around pest control, which I was not about because...
They kill them.
I think we all, we've built our home on top of their home is actually what's happened.
Nice. You want a rat negotiator?
Yes.
The rat whisperer.
Yes, maybe I should quit this boring meetings job and go be a rat negotiator.
What are your demands? Cheese, okay.
Were you just trying to rhyme rat negotiator?
Yeah, did you
were,
notice
weren't
that?
you? Yeah.
I'm a rat negotiator in the elevator.
Oh!
No, let's not.
I liked it.
The only bit of those two words that rhymes is the last syllable. Tour.
Anyway, pest control came round. I was really worried all night. I did a lot of loud noises to try and scare the rat away to give him a fighting chance. Yeah. And it worked. He went. He was gone. The pest control man said, "You've not got a rat problem." He must have just run in the open front door into the kitchen. But then this week, we've heard out the window 2 separate neighbours talking about seeing rats in their flats.
Oh, is it the same rat, do you think, working his way back down?
Well, I think what's happened, do you remember the drain situation with the fatberg in the drains?
Yes.
Making everything, so we think they've unclogged the drains,
Yes.
disturbed the rats' natural habitats.
Oh.
Now the rats in the flats.
Well, we had a lot of mice in the heist, and it's fine if you're posh, because we had a building thing next door, and they were knocking down this old, beautiful joinery building. It was so lovely. And when they were knocking it all down, all these animals were fleeing, and so and we were right next door, and they were coming, and all these mice were coming through our house, and it was really sad because we had a mouse negotiator who came out and was talking at length about how he's putting the poison down so they'd all go back and kill their families. And Beth was in tears, and she was like, "No, just go. We'll just let them live."
We'll just live with them, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Learn to share.
This weather, I don't know if you're experiencing a similar problem, but it's more flies at the moment for me. Flies in the
skies.
Flies in the skies, yeah. But it's very much not in the skies.
Yeah.
They're fine in the skies. They're in my living room.
In your
a
mouth.
lot. Because I'm leaving like the sort of patio doors open.
Well, here's my question. Are flies getting bigger?
Yeah, I think so. They're huge, some of them.
They're huge. They're so huge that I keep worrying that it's Flying Ant Day.
Oh.
You know Flying Ant Day?
Yeah, what a day that is.
One day.
I love Flying Ant
When
Day.
we do that, because I must put it in the diary, what day does it fall this year?
I think it's normally August.
Okay. I must get my Flying Ant Day cards, get the bunting up.
You like Flying Ant Day, Dave?
End of July or beginning of August.
Oh my goodness me. Did we talk about it last year when it happened? I have a memory of...
I mean, we talked about literally every single thing that happened last year, so yes, we must have.
Because some people don't know what Flying Ant Day is. It's one day of the year when all the ants grow wings and fly.
I mean, could you imagine if there was a Flying Human Day? If there was just one day a year where people sprouted wings? For fuck's sake. As a species, ants are very lucky.
But I came back from the common at Wimbledon and I bumped into one of my neighbours and he said hello and I went, "It's Flying Ant Day." And he clearly had no idea what it was and went, "Okay," and carried on walking.
It's really, I love Flying Ant Day. It's such a wonderful day because they're just everywhere. The kids love it. Mind you, if you've ever been bitten by a flying ant,
no.
Oh my God, ant bites absolutely
Really?
kill. They are so painful. Yeah, I got bitten on the face by a flying ant once. Yeah.
I'm never leaving my house again. That's awful.
It was really bad. It was like growing an extra nose. It was extraordinary. Yeah.
Did you feel it at the time or did you just notice
Yeah, straight away
afterwards?
I smashed him. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, a bit too soon to be talking about it, but I killed him to death.
You didn't negotiate?
He died. The only other thing to die on my face was that flying ant.
As far as you know.
As far as I know, of course.
Apart from your moustache also died on your face.
Oh, R.I.P. Tash. I love her. I love her. I could grow it back. She could come back. So okay. So Rat in the Flat. So it's gone, but you feel like it lives on. There's more to come here.
It's gone. It lives on. The Encore. Oh, I shouldn't say their name, should I?
What?
The estate managers are going to be coming round and laying some.
Are they called Encore?
Yeah.
It might be called Encore. Let's not mention them too much. It'll be fine if we only mention Encore once or twice. It'll be okay. Thing about Encore, and indeed all estate managers, is that you really, really get good value for money. From everyone I know who's ever had an estate manager, they always say how great they are, and they don't at all charge excessive fees for minimal. They get me the word. Get me the last word to finish the sentence.
Ants.
Thanks.
Okay, are we done with rats?
I'm done with rats. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from the WhatsApp agenda, you both pause there like I've gone mad. Like, I'm just trying to move the podcast on smoothly.
Away from rats.
Sort of like,
what?
Away from rats.
What's
There's another
next?
thing on the WhatsApp agenda.
Yeah.
Well, from rats, Helen, to spider.
So I actually posted spider based on something
I know exactly
Tom
what you've... Yes, I know why you've posted this.
Yeah.
Tom has flouted the rules of the internet.
What, by putting a spider on there?
People were livid. I had like 3 different people text me saying, what the fuck has Tom put on the internet? It's disgusting. Claire, my friend who's living with me at the moment, literally burst into my room going, have you seen what Tom Price has put on Twitter? It's disgusting. Like, I think you ruined a lot of breakfasts.
It was awful.
And that's saying something considering how many times I've DJ'd breakfast radio. That is
what a compliment.
That is completely out. I didn't realise. Is it because I didn't realise it was internet rules. Is it because I'm flouting Spider's privacy? Is that why?
No, I think it's just like one of those, you know, it's a very, very mild version of when people are like trigger warning. This thing is going to genuinely be quite disgusting to look at.
Horrific. It was horrific. So basically, we decided to have a barbecue the other day, and we were already late to make the barbecue. The kids were getting hungry, and it's usually at about that point that I decide to uncover the barbecue for the first time in probably 10 months. And as I did that, I discovered it was rotten and completely unusable and rusty and just a disaster. This sort of greasy, ancient mess. And as I lifted the barbecue cover, which Beth made a point of buying last year, there were a load of webs in it, and then this spider that looks like it's been deep fried. You can see it on my Instagram at the Press Tom on Insta, see there. And it looks like it has been battered in the sense that dipped into, batter.
Yeah.
And it was huge. And to the point where, and this is the best depiction of it, when it walked across the barbecue cover, you could hear, like, it properly, mate, like proper footsteps. You'd be able to hear this spider creeping up on you. That's how big it was.
It looks poisonous.
Well, everyone says that, but I think it's a common garden spider.
You said flies are getting bigger. I think spiders are getting bigger too.
Yeah, maybe they are. Maybe these are things we've got to look forward to as the world begins to end.
Did I tell you the pest control man, the pest negotiator, his next job was he was going to someone's house where they had a snake?
Oh my, what? What do you mean?
A snake?
What, they'd found a snake in their house?
In their house. The end. That's as far as my knowledge goes.
A wild snake?
A snake?
What sort of snake?
I don't know. He just said, I'm off to find a snake in someone's house. Wish me luck.
That happened in the UK? Are we talking about in the United Kingdom?
I doubt he was getting on a flight that day.
Did he have a passport with him?
Has to quarantine for 10 days before he can rescue the snake.
Because my neighbours kept a grass snake in their house because they have a menagerie of all sorts of different animals, and the grass snake disappeared. Yeah, I know. So... and we haven't seen it since. And I am terrified of snakes.
Oh, my goodness. Maybe that's where the pest control man was going, was to your neighbour's neighbour.
Oh, God.
Snakes or sharks? Which would you rather be killed by?
Oh God.
Shark. I think a shark could take a big bite out of you and kill you quickly, eh?
Yeah.
With a snake, can't you just get swallowed whole and just sit in the belly and get acid?
Dearie me.
What?
No, just the idea of being eaten and then digesting.
God.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy who got eaten by a whale this week?
Yes, I talked about it on my radio show the other day. It's incredible.
Yeah.
He was swimming off where was it? Off the coast of...
I just saw the headline, let's be honest.
Okay, so I actually don't have that excuse.
Tom talked about it on the radio.
I did the detail,
and still does
and I've run aground after 5 words. He's a lobster farmer. He was catching lobsters, which I always object to, I'll be honest, when people boil lobsters alive, but that's possibly a different conversation. It's awful. My family went on holiday to the Scilly Isles and they got a lobster and they boiled it alive. I was really cross with them. I was getting really shitty on WhatsApp about it, and they were like, it's fine, don't be so woke. I was like, I mean, woke? You're boiling an animal to death, you assholes. Anyway,
lobster in the...
Yeah, go on. Pot. Popster.
Toaster.
Yeah.
So
it was the coast of Cape Cod.
Thank you, mate. Ironically enough, and he was getting lobsters, and he felt something like this. He described it as a bump, and he thought he'd been attacked by a shark, and then he realised it was dark, and he was inside the mouth of a humpback whale, like full on.
Can you imagine?
And then he said he started to make his peace. He started to think, well, I'm never going to see my wife and children again. I'm dead. And then the whale surfaced, because this was quite deep when he was lobster fishing. The whale goes all the way to the surface and spat him out, and he literally flew out of the whale's mouth and then swam ashore to sort of, tell everyone who was probably going, sure.
How amazing.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Can you imagine trying to tell your colleagues, lads?
I just got spat out by a whale.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing to verify this, is there, ever? Did you have a camera on him or anything?
That's so true.
I mean, this is the point, isn't it?
He could have just made it up, couldn't he?
There's a voice actor at a drama school who says that it's all about how the command of your voice. And she has this story that she was once stranded out at sea and she bumped into a dolphin and she just said with real confidence, "Take me to shore." And then the dolphin took her to shore.
I have never heard anything more. That explains every single British person's approach to being abroad. Yeah. Bring me the menu. That is incredible.
Take me to shore.
That's the most actor thing I've ever heard in my life.
Really is. Wow.
There we go. Okay. All right, so we've done that. So let's just quickly, before we've got we run out of time, then a few more bits of the WhatsApp agenda.
Sure.
So new day, Helen says. Presumably you're talking about the new cabin fever day.
Yeah, I was just going to say about being in business mode, but actually you guys have really pulled me out of business mode and into being worried about what animals are going to kill me mode, so that's good.
Excellent.
See,
Excellent.
That's good. That's what we're here for,
Yeah, good.
And then you've written "It's coming home," Helen.
Because it's coming home.
Is it? What, the rat
it
is
sort of
coming
links back to what I was saying earlier about the only other thing I'm going to do today is my beef song for Ben Partridge. And Ben Partridge did a tweet that I've never, occasionally you see a tweet where you go, that is exactly what I've been thinking for so long, and I don't know, I've never quite put my finger on it. But he basically did a tweet that said, it annoys me so much that people are saying it's coming home, because the original song, Three Lions, was in 1996, right? When Euro 96 was in England.
Yes.
And the song, so it's coming home means the tournament is coming home.
No.
Right? Yeah. Well, think about it, Helen. What the fuck does it's coming home mean? The football? There's one football. No. And when you win the World Cup, you win the football and it comes back.
You host it, don't you? Isn't it like Eurovision?
It means winning it. The cup is coming home. No, I'm sorry, Dave. No, I'm
no, because football's... Anyway, well, it was sadly... It has sadly been buried completely because Ben Partridge is absolutely on the money, because David Baddiel replied and said, yeah, you're right.
Oh, really? Oh, no!
Because it doesn't make sense. What does football's coming home mean?
You've blown
if they were saying the trophy's coming home, that makes more sense,
but you're
doesn't it?
Going, football's coming home.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So everyone's like, it's coming home. What? The sport of football? You don't win the sport when you win the Euros.
But maybe... it's become a metaphor, which is I have the hope that they had in that song that we're going to win the football. Therefore, I'm trying to think of another song lyric that transcends its meaning.
Yeah, good.
Okay, if you've got another example, that'd be really useful.
Anton Dex, let's get ready to rumble.
I know, in Mamma Mia 2, you can hear the drums Fernando. They cast an actor.
That's one of that's the best worst moment in all of cinematic history. Have you seen Mamma Mia 2, TP?
I have, but only through my closed eyes because I was asleep.
It's honestly the most.
Great.
It's the worst. I thought I'd remembered it wrong, but then it was on Gogglebox quite recently, wasn't it? And it was absolutely right, wasn't it?
Which bit? Hang on, because I actually did have to watch it.
Andy Garcia, all the way through Mamma Mia 2, has been playing like this guy that runs the hotel.
Oh my God! Then he ends up bonking. What's her name?
Cher.
Yes.
But they've only called him like Senor, whatever his surname is.
Oh my God, his name was
through the film. And then Cher flies in on a helicopter at the end. The strings start up. Yeah. He turns around and Cher goes, Fernando.
I remember that.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Someone came up with that, and then someone else went, "Yeah, let's do it."
Someone approved it, and then people put cameras on it, and then they all said it. Cher was happy to say it.
It's worth pointing out that I was lucky enough to interview, because Mamma Mia 2 was obviously massive for the Magic listeners. So I went to watch it because obviously Cher was in the movie, so I got to interview Pierce Brosnan. So that was good. Really enjoyed that. I remember that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's Cher. The Cher arriving had the same "It's Jackie" energy on Big Brother, didn't it?
Yeah,
Jackie.
exactly that.
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, you're right, Monk. So yeah, the song has transcended, very much like the song Fernando in Mamma Mia 2. Here we go again.
Can we, before we finish today's episode, there's some bit...
Oh, shit it. I've only got 1 minute. Go.
Well, that's good. That's perfect. Because there's something we need to do. We need to make a new Cabin Fever trailer, because our current trailer talks about us doing a daily show during lockdown with a Bale quiz. And that is being played across the Great Big Owl network. So I think before this episode finishes, we should record live a trailer, which we will then use as our official trailer across the Great Big Owl network.
That's quite a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
I like pressure.
Okay, fine. Okay, so how's it going to go?
Let's just take it in turns to speak, right? So let's work out who's going to speak first, second, and third, and then we will rotate it twice and see if it works.
I literally have 35 seconds.
Well, that works. So Dave speaks first, Helen speaks second, I'll speak third, then Dave speaks again, Helen speaks again, then I'll speak again, okay? And that's all we're going to do.
Hello, my name's Dave Cribb, and alongside these two people, Tom Price and Helen Monks, I do a podcast called Cabin Fever. What is Cabin Fever, you ask? Tom?
Well, I'll tell you what it is, Dave. It's a podcast we do once a week where anything really happens. Oh, that's a really bad sell, isn't it? Helen? Help?
I'm also here.
Okay, great. Job done. Thanks, guys.
That was such a deliberate hospital pass, because the reason I knew this wouldn't work is because every time someone says, what is Cabin Fever? It takes me about a minute and a half. I'm like, well, it was sort of like in lockdown at first. So we do like it every day, and we thought it would be nice to keep people company during lockdown. But then it kind of, since the lockdowns ended, obviously we did sort of every week. And it's like, it's an impossible thing to explain without going, it's a podcast where three white people just chat about their weeks.
Okay.
Cool, guys.
Okay, well, I've got the solution. Guys, I've got the solution. It's a classic solution. We go...
The meeting started.
Okay, you need to go. We go to our Twitter followers. Could you please script us... Yes?
Perfect.
We need nothing longer than about 25 seconds. We need to script what is Cabin Fever and why should people listen to it. If you could do that, that'd be ideal. Yes?
All the best.
All the best. Thanks for coming. AOB?
No. Press the dingle. It's so long. I'm going to be even later.
Helen, anything you want to say?
Stop it.
She's literally gone.
I'm literally on.
Bye now.
Cabin FE 83709. Oh, Cabin FE 83709. Oh, Cabin FE 83709. Oh, that's our Twitter name.
Dave, can you open the meeting and we can hear you say the first thing in the meeting?
I know it very well. I think it's good.
Classic meeting.
GreatBigOwl.com.
Hey everyone, it's Jen and Jess from the beauty podcast Fat Mascara.
We're excited to tell you about Strivectin's Advanced Retinol Nightly Renewal Moisturizer, which gives you all the benefits of retinol without irritation.
That's right. After 4 weeks of use, testers saw visible improvement in fine lines, wrinkles, texture, and radiance, and 0% reported irritation.
Plus, Strivectin's Advanced Retinol Nightly Renewal Moisturizer has NIA114, Strivectin's patented form of niacin that's clinically shown to enhance the efficacy of retinol while limiting common sensitivity.
Visit strivectin.com to learn more.